Nikola Vucevic calls out Chicago Bulls teammates for lackluster effort and falling short of pro basketball expectations. Jeff Stelfox, Getty Images. Scott Polacek, November 23, 2025. Imagine scraping by with a nail-biting win, only to feel like your team is playing like amateurs. That's exactly how Chicago Bulls center Nikola Vucevic felt after their thrilling 121-120 escape against the struggling Washington Wizards. Despite the victory, Vucevic didn't hold back in expressing his disappointment with the squad's overall intensity, especially during the game's early stages. In a candid post-game chat, the veteran big man laid it out plainly. "We came across as really passive for the first 3 quarters or so," he remarked, also voicing irritation over how some teammates celebrated amid the sloppy play. "There was zero pushback from us. We completely ignored the game plan we had discussed." Back in the locker room, Vucevic didn't let up. He gathered the team and emphasized, "Our performance just wasn't at the level of what you expect in the NBA." He went on to stress that this approach simply isn't viable long-term, adding that he was particularly frustrated because the problems they faced, like lapses in focus and execution, were entirely within their power to fix. For beginners tuning into basketball, this kind of self-accountability from a star player like Vucevic highlights true leadership, but it also raises eyebrows. Is publicly calling out your own team motivating, or does it risk creating division? Let's break down what happened on the court. Chicago's defense was an absolute disaster to start, surrendering a whopping 41 points in the opening quarter to a Wizards squad that dropped to a dismal 1-15 record with the defeat. To their credit, the Bulls fired back offensively, putting up 40 points of their own in that frame, which kept them in the fight despite the defensive meltdown. Think of it like a leaky boat. You're bailing water frantically, but at least you're not sinking yet. But here's where it gets controversial. The game settled into a gritty, low-scoring affair from there, with neither side cracking the 30-point barrier in any of the last 3 quarters. That slower pace actually worked in Chicago's favor eventually, but they still trailed by 6 heading into the 4th, a deficit that could have been avoided with sharper defense from the jump. Vucevic stepped up big when it mattered most, draining 2 crucial 3-pointers late in the game to fuel the comeback. His second one even handed the Bulls a 5-point edge, though Washington clawed back to lead by 1. In the end, it was Trey Jones who sealed the deal with free throws with just 34 seconds left. Those shots proved to be the difference in a game that had fans on the edge of their seats. The 7-foot center was the engine of the offense, posting a double-double. That's basketball lingo for reaching double digits in 2 key stats, with 28 points and 12 rebounds, including 9 on the offensive glass, meaning he grabbed misses right under the basket to give his team second chances. He was efficient too, going 12-4-20 from the field and 3-4-7 from beyond the arc. If you're new to the NBA, offensive rebounds like these are gold. They turn potential turnovers into fresh scoring opportunities. Offensively, the Bulls hummed along just fine in the win, but Vucevic's real gripe was the porous defense, a recurring headache for the team. This isn't a one-off issue. Chicago currently sits 20th in the league for defensive rating, a stat that measures points allowed per 100 possessions, with lower being better, clocking in at 116.6 according to NBA.com. In simple terms, it's like grading a team's ability to stop the opponent, mediocre at best, and it's holding them back from their full potential. And this is the part most people miss. Even with these defensive struggles, the Bulls are holding a respectable 9-7 record this season and have snagged 3 wins in their last 4 outings. They're showing flashes of promise, but consistency is key. If Chicago can tighten up that backcourt defense moving forward, perhaps by communicating better or rotating quicker on picks, they have the talent to shake up the Eastern Conference playoff picture. Vucevic's blunt words could be the wake-up call they need. What do you think? Does a player like him have the right to air these grievances publicly, or should it stay behind closed doors? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Agree with his tough love, or see it as stirring unnecessary drama? Let's discuss.